What's up, guys? It is Monday, July 21st, 2008. Tennis Chatter right here. Nick McCarville coming at you live from Helena, Montana. So a pretty interesting week last week for me, doing a couple feature stories for my local paper, which is a great experience for me, writing-wise. Didn't really pay attention too much to the tennis. Wasn't a great week for Americans. Serena Williams pulling out with an injury at the Bank of the West, and then James Blake and Sam Querrey both unable to get through their semifinal matches in Indianapolis. But this week the men's tour really heats up as they have their first Tennis Masters Series event in Toronto. Always such a cool tournament that everybody turns out for, and no one is disappointing. Roger Federer, your top seed; Rafael Nadal, your number 2. Obviously that is a good argument to have all week, but looking at the draw, this should be quite the interesting week. There's so many floaters, and that's always what is so intriguing about these Master Series events, is that you never know kind of who's going to come out of the woodwork, who's going to come out firing. And Federer, who has a bye in the first round, will most likely get Gilles Simon. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. He's from France, and he actually just beat Tursunov in the final at Indianapolis. So Federer and Simon have never played, so that could be a very interesting second round matchup, and it would be Federer's first match since his Wimbledon final loss to Nadal. Now, interestingly enough, Roddick is in Federer's quarter, so if Roddick can get by what is probably going to be a match with Tipsarevic, who was his defeater at Wimbledon, then it could be an Andy Roddick, Roger Federer quarterfinal. On that same half of the draw, you have Davydenko and Blake. James Blake has a pretty easy road, so hopefully he'll be motivated from playing okay in Indianapolis, but not playing great, and maybe we'll see some good tennis out of James. He always loves playing on the hard courts in North America. On the other side of the draw, really look for Rafael Nadal to continue his run and his attempt to claim the #1 spot in the world. He has a potential matchup with Marcos Baghdatis in the second round, so that could certainly be interesting. And then on the top side of that other half of the draw, Andy Murray is the 8th seed, and then Novak Djokovic is the 3 seed. It'll be interesting to see. Djokovic is the defending champion last year. If you remember, he beat Roddick, Nadal, and Federer in the quarters, semis, and finals to win this tournament as a Master Series event, and so he's got either Mario Ancic or Frank Dinksevic. Frank was the Canadian who came through last year in the summer, kind of had a breakout year. He's been up and down, but Ancic obviously a huge serve, the Croatian, so hopefully a Federer-Nadal rematch. But there's so much going on in this draw, which is so fun to watch. Kind of watching and paying attention to the 2 big tournaments last week. Not very much going on, so we'll see what the men can produce. Now on the women's side, Jelena Jankovic making her first appearance down in LA at the East-West Bank Classic. Now, how confusing is it for the WTA to have the Bank of the West Classic and then the East-West Bank Classic? Back-to-back weeks, both in California, both called Classic. That's just so confusing. I mean, I know you're trying to find these sponsors, WTA, but really? Come on. Think of some original name or something. But Serena Williams is the 2 seed behind Jankovic, and those are the 2 strongholds in the draw, and this is kind of the part of the season that the women really start to fall like flies, or drop like flies, I guess. Venus and Lindsay Davenport have already pulled out of this event. Serena has a bum knee coming in. Jankovic always has something going on, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we had, I don't know, who did we have in the final last year? Rosano, something weird's going to happen in LA. It always does. So my focus this week is really going to be on the Rogers Cup as the men start to lead up to the Olympics, and they'll go over to Asia and then they'll come back over. So lots of interesting, wow, that's a tough word tonight, I guess. A lot of interesting stuff going on the men's tour, and hopefully the women's tour will start to heat up next week with San Diego as they work their way toward Beijing. Just some fun stuff coming up on Tennis Chatter this next week. I'll do a lot of stuff on Toronto, and send in any questions or suggestions or comments that you guys might have. Thanks for hanging around, and I hope you guys enjoyed the comical video that Matt and I did last week. We're going to try to do another one here in the near future if we can connect again. That's all for Tennis Chatter, July 21st, 2008. You guys have a great Monday.